ለመማር ወደ ትምህርት ተቋም መሄድ ግድ አይደለም። ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ
ራሳችሁን ከኮሮና ቫይረስ ወረርሽኝ እየጠበቃችሁ በቤታችሁ ወይም በተመቻችሁ ቦታ በኢንተርኔት አማካኝነት በኦንላይን ትምህርታችሁን መከታተል ትችላላችሁ።
ካናዳ ከሚገኘው ኢንተርናሽናል ኤር ትራንስፖርት አሶሲዬሽን አያታና ከእንግሊዙ ኢንስቲትዩት ኦፍ ኮመርሻል ማኔጅመንት ICM ጋር በመተባበር የሚሰጡ ትምህርቶችን ተከታትላችሁ በ6 ወር ጊዜ በዓለም አቀፍ ደረጃ ተቀባይነት ያለውን የስልጠና ማስረጃ ባለቤት መሆን ይቻላል።
ልምድ ባላቸው መምህራን እየተማራችሁ ጥያቄና መልስ የክፍል ስራዎች ፈተና መፈተን ክፍል ውስጥ እንዳላችሁት አይነት በኦንላይን ባላችሁበት ቦታ ከናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ
የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ
Good morning, Zaram. Good morning, class.
Good morning, teacher.
How are you?
I'm fine.
So we can start. Who's going to present first? Let me give you a number. Who's going to present first? First presenter. Let me give you a number. First presenter. Excellent. Habtamu first. Excellent. Habtamu first. Second. Excellent. Samson second. Samson second. Very good. Third. Eyerusalem Tesfaye. Third. Eyerusalem third. Fourth. Taye. Fourth. Fifth. Salam Fasara. Fifth. Why the photogram is the same? The same thing, I think. Fifth, Sarak. Sixth, Thomas again. Sixth, seventh, Zeranan. Eighth, Awoke. That's all. We can start. Yes? Why? I will only photos all the time. You are the last. Since you are disturbed. Yeah? Actually. It's okay. So when somebody speaks, please try to ask a question. When somebody speaks, try to ask a question because I need a very interactive class, right? The objective of presentation is not for the sake of mark only, right? To achieve our speaking objective, right? That's the main thing. So I don't want you to speak. I don't want you to speak Amharic or Chinese today, but English, right? But English. Okay, Mr. Habtamu, we can go ahead.
First of all, I would like to thank National Aviation College for preparing the online classes. And secondly, I would like to thank you, our English teacher, Mr. Talahun.
I totally disagree with your thinking, actually, because I was the one who was, expected to be thanked first before he thanked the college. Because if I were not here, the college wouldn't give this opportunity for you. So why did you bring the college first? I'm disappointed from the beginning.
The college. If the college hadn't prepared these classes, I don't think you would be teaching as well.
I could teach you on my cell phone, actually.
We'll see that.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, just for fun. Okay.
And thirdly, I would like to thank my colleagues, my friends, for giving your attention. I have chosen to present about the causes of divorce. That is my presentation for the day. So human beings have been given many blessings from their creator, from our own creator. And among these gifts, these blessings is marriage. Now, from the beginning of time, family life has been the center, and the core of it is marriage. This marriage is highly encouraged by society and religion, but unfortunately, sometimes it ends up being broken. Well, marriage is intended to last for lifetime, but for one or another reason, divorce happens, comes to an end. So I'm going to give my opinion on 4 major causes of divorce. So first of all, the very first one that I have put is involvement on before marriage decisions. So marriage could be broken even in the things we decide before we get into it. If the 2 parties, the husband and the wife, if they hadn't decided to get into marriage by their own selves, if a third party influenced them, or if somebody else, could be a relative, father, a mother, or a friend, if they had pushed them into that relationship, into that marriage, if it is not 100% decision of their own, that could be the reason in the future for the breakage of that marriage. Because
I'm sorry, Mr.
in marriage, problem arises.
Sorry, Mr.
Yes,
Abtamu. I want to do something for the classmates. Please, classmates, try to prepare question. When somebody presents, try to, prepare a question and show the presenter at the end of the class, right? At the end of the presentation. So try to prepare questions. Okay, go ahead, Abtamu, sorry.
Okay. So in marriage, it is very obvious problem arises. So and in marriage, the husband and the wife alone are in that house to solve that problem. But if somebody had pushed them or the marriage was arranged, they always have a reason to blame somebody else. They say, this was never my decision anyway. So that leaves a hole to leave that marriage. That is the first reason. If the decision made before marriage was not entirely by the couples, that leaves an open door to walk out of marriage. That's the first reason. And the second one is misunderstanding of one's own nature. Now, we human beings are very self-centered. Me first and everybody else next. That's our internal nature. If we don't understand that, in marriage, when the 2 parties, the husband and the wife, have problem, or they're chatting, or especially on decision making, see the two couples before they got into marriage, they lived their separate lives. So the husband did his own will on his life, and the wife the same thing. But when they come into one house, into marriage, only one decision out of one house works. Husband cannot do his own thing, and the wife cannot do her own thing. They have to decide as one person, and that usually asks for denying oneself's will, and it is extremely hard for human beings to deny themselves, to give up their own will, so that the other may be heard. That's the second reason why marriage breaks, because they become very impatient to listen one another, because they want to do their own will. They don't give a chance to the other. So the first one was by another person, by involvement before marriage. The second one by our own misunderstanding of our own nature, by not denying our own will to give a chance to the other partner. And the third one is meddling in marriage, by third party meddling in marriage, or interference. Now, the first one that I tried to explain was about before marriage, but this is in marriage. After the marriage had been taken place, usually near relatives like fathers of either couple and friends, they usually meddle in the marriage. They try to put their hands in the marriage. That gives an open door again for, let's say, if the father and mother of the husband want to interfere in that marriage, the wife feels that she is not having a private married life. The decision is made outside of their circle. And that leaves a big door to get out of that marriage for the wife in this example. Because as I said, leave alone a third party coming in and deciding for the house, even the husband and the wife are fighting with whose will be done. So if third party comes in, if they put their hands in that marriage, that's very dangerous, and that becomes a cause for divorce. And fourthly and lastly, it's lack of faithfulness to one another. Love is very jealous. A husband wants his wife for himself and himself only, and the same goes for the wife. She wants her husband for her and herself only. If cheating happens on either party, that is usually a dead end for that marriage. Not many people find a mercy in their heart, to forgive a person who has cheated on them, and that usually breaks up the marriage. So these are the 4 reasons that I have put on my opinion. So to conclude, in conclusion, if getting into marriage was forced, was arranged by a third party, and the husband or the wife or both of them are unwilling to deny themselves in that marriage so that the other might be heard, and if a third party meddling in that marriage, somebody else putting their hands in that marriage, and lastly, lack of faithfulness happens to one another, this could end the marriage relationship, and these are the major causes of divorce. And I thank you for giving me this chance, and students for listening to me and giving your attention. If there is any question, you may raise it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Habtamu. Awoke has done his presentation very well, delivered very good. And it tells me that how much you have been ready, because I smell, students who has prepared himself very well and didn't prepare himself well. So I appreciate your preparation, very nice. Thanks so much, and the way you are presented. It's good. But I have, only 10 questions for you. But let me give a chance for the other students. Please, other students, try to shower him by questions. And I have understood that Mr. Habtamu is expert on the field, in the field of marriage, maybe. So you have tried to share us, even if I'm a bit scared, since I'm going to marry after 2 months, because there are different causes. So I'm going to change my mind. Anyway, okay, do you have any questions, other students? Question? You can ask, please ask him. Don't scare, since he's a representative of the class. He has no any privilege to minimize mark or something. Right? Information will be better. Actually, Zeraram, excellent. You have questions. Very good, Zeraram. Ask one question. But Zeraram, you must ask one question. Otherwise, it affects your presentation. Ask him. Do you question about what?
Okay. Don't you think like sometimes marriage is good for people who didn't like, who are not like couples, or
Yeah. Go ahead.
I just finished. So I asked him like
Did
if
you ask him? Okay.
yeah.
Come again, please. Ask me again.
Come again.
Mr.
Come
Jalal.
again. Zaid, እንደገና ጠይቀው።
Don't you think like divorce is good for people who did not like happy in their marriage?
Yeah. Do you recommend people to get a divorce when they are not happy by their marriage, Mr. Abdul?
Okay. I will try to explain that, though this is outside of the.
This first question. Yes, again, yes. This you try to hold the question. Second question. Salam. Salam Fasa. Salam Fasa. Salam. ኧረ ተይ 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 ዛሬ ምንድን ነው ቁርስ አልበላሽም? እሺ ጥያቄ ልጅ እሺ ተመለሽ። Ask question please.
ጥያቄ የለኝም።
ማውራት እኮ አለባችሁ። ካላወራችሁ ጉዳችሁ ፈላ ወደ ስራ ላይ ስትገቡ you have to have you have to be communicative. Communicative course አምጥተውት እሺ okay other student Abel, you have question, Abel? Abel Yirdaw. Okay, Mr. Habtamu, let me ask you a question. All right. You have said that, I totally disagree with you. Once you said in your presentations, decisions will be made between two couples, right? Husband and wife. So when I get married, I don't want to give a chance for my wife to decide, right? So since we are Ethiopians, decisions mostly are being done by husbands, right? So I respect my culture, even if nowadays these generations are going to decide things together. So as a husband, so I myself should decide. The second question is, so my question is, decision shouldn't be made between two of the persons. The second is love is jealousy, you said. During cheating, that is a dead end for marriage, you said. If there is a love, even if my wife cheats, 1,000 times, I don't give any damn shits because, there is love. So love excuses, right? So, because of the cheating, it shouldn't be the end for divorce. So these are two questions.
Okay. Anybody else who have questions? Or should I start?
I have a question. What is the purpose of marriage? The purpose of marriage. And sometimes this is በአንዳንድ ትዳር ውስጥ ማለት ነው
No Chinese, no Amharic. No Chinese, no Amharic.
Trust issue and insecurities it's happened sometimes. So how can we fix it that?
Yeah, this is good English. Other students, other question?
Also other question. What do you think the poison of marriage?
In your attitude. What do you think? Come again? I didn't hear it correctly.
The question that I wanted to ask you is, in your opinion, what is the main poison of the marriage?
Okay, this much is enough. So Mr. Habtamu is going to answer now.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your participation, all of you.
Okay. Even if you are angry by us, it's okay.
No, I am really happy. That tells me you were listening and interested in the question that I have.
That's right. And we like you more. That's right. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, I will start from Mr. Zelalem. Mr. Zelalem's question. said, is it not good for couples? Now, first of all, that's one thing I want to say before trying to answer these questions. I presented the causes of divorce. So I was not presenting the causes and solutions or of marriage. So I was specific. I was just pointing out the causes. I was not giving the solutions.
Yeah, we know. Even if you touch that area, I'm sorry, even if you touch to that area, we know that's the topic. Since you are, very mature in marriage, so you can, share your experience for us because
Thank
you
you very
are
much.
into the ocean.
Okay, I'll then answer all the questions then. Mr. Zalalam say, is it not good for couples to leave the marriage if they don't love one another? Now the question is, if they don't love one another in the first place, why did they come into that marriage in the first place? That's the first cause that I explained. Means there was an involvement, a push from a third party, or that marriage was not intended by themselves. There was some factor that pushed them into that marriage besides love. Love grows when the couples get married. There's fighting, of course, there's fighting, but love grows steadily. But as I said, if the cause of that marriage was besides the decision of the two, then there becomes a problem because they didn't have love maybe in the first place in their heart. So is it good for couples to leave the marriage? And I say before that question, couples should get into marriage by their own decision, and then that this won't be a problem. Leaving the marriage won't be a question. They want to love more, they want to live together. As marriage goes, there are a lot more than the two. There will be children, which ties that marriage even stronger. So leaving the marriage is not an option. It's a lifetime dedication. That's why you have to decide 100% beforehand by your own. So I think I answered Zalalam's question.
Try to make it very specific because of time when you answer, Mr.
Okay, sir. Mr. Tlaun asked that decision should be made by husband only.
No, Mr. Tlaun, Instructor Tlaun.
Okay,
Mr. Tlaun.
Instructor
minus 5 marks.
Okay. Decision should be made by one party, and that party should be the husband. Well, in reality, that is not really true. Even in Ethiopian culture, we say the husband is the head of the house. Really, usually the wives know how to run their husbands. So the husbands look, they are running the house from outside, but from within, it's the wife who runs the house. But the thing is, if the decision is not made by agreement between the two, that becomes that leaves a big door even to walk out of that marriage, because the other party feels ignored. This is the wife's house as well. She has nothing.
She has the right to decide to participate.
Yes, she has the right to decide, and that is even true even in Ethiopian culture too. But the thing is, if the two of them,
I'm sorry. If we take our former fathers and mothers, mostly, our before fathers used to oppress our mothers, which oppress before.
Nowadays, yes, there's some degree.
Yeah, there's some degree. No, at that time maybe you were not born. You were not born at that time, maybe. Okay, am I right, Mr. Daran? Haven't you have information? Our mothers used to be oppressed before.
No, I'm sure there is, but not in my family or like.
Not in your family. No, I'm not saying that in my family.
I know.
My father was very democratic. Yes. It's okay. That is what I have. It's okay. Go ahead, Abdul.
You know, sir, when you get something done, for instance, by the husband, and he does not have an ear for you, you go through his wife. You tell his wife, you know, I want this and that, but your husband refused me. But the wife will go and make sure that the husband does that thing. That's democracy, right?
Yeah.
He listens. I mean, from the outside it looks like he doesn't, but from within, the husband listens. Okay, the next question asked by instructor Tlahun was love has excuse. Even if the cheating happens, that marriage could continue.
Yeah, because there is love. The bond is love.
Because there is love. It's true. If that love is genuine, and as I said before, I said many people, they don't find a heart to forgive those who cheat on them. There will be a few. They might not be right. That's their decision. You know, some religions support that. You know, it becomes religious, and you know, human beings, they give first for religion.
What about you, Mr. Abdul?
Especially in our
practical. Let's make it practical. I think you are married. If your wife cheats tomorrow, I'm sorry to say, will you divorce her?
No, because that.
Yes.
I am a Protestant Christian.
Yeah.
And you know, I was left out. I mean, since you asked a personal question, I have to be personal. See, I was dead in sins. But Jesus came and died for me. That's love for me. See.
So anyway, you excuse for her.
Yeah, I'll excuse her.
Even me too. But most husbands may not do that actually. Zeralem said, you know, Zeralem nodded his head like this. This is, you know, dictator. Zeralem is dictator husband for the future. So we have to excuse, you know, because there is love. If you love your wife, you have to. Anyway, it depends, like individual difference, like Habtamu said. Okay, Habtamu, finished.
Okay. There are two questions left. Nati said, in the purpose of marriage, if there is insecurity, is that your question, Nati? In the purpose of marriage, if there was
I asked two questions. What is the purpose of marriage? And sometimes it happened trust issues and insecurities. So how can we fix it?
That's in money. You mean money wise?
And the purpose. What's the purpose of marriage? Mr. Abdul was going to teach us. Yeah.
Okay, the purpose of marriage is, in the first place, a man and a woman, they are like half a person. They become one full human being when they come together in marriage.
They breathe in one lung.
They become one body.
They breathe in one lung. It means.
That's true. Especially after years gone by. So that's one. Secondly, to have children, you know, and to raise them responsibly. I mean, you could have children without marriage, but you cannot raise them responsibly for the next generation. And thirdly, like I said before, marriage is the core of the family life. And if you don't have family life, you don't have neighborhood life. You don't have neighborhood life, you don't have society life, you don't have a clan or a nation, a country. Everything
will not be trustworthy. By the way, sometimes, you know, when you go for work area, I hope, you know, for the future when you'll be employed, so they ask, you know, for interview, during interview, are you married? You say, Salam, are you married? Not are you married? Habtamu, are you married? So when Habtamu said, yes, I'm married, okay, for work interview, oh, this person is trustworthy. Say. When Salam said, I'm single, oh, this lady, you know, ኃላፊነት የሚሰማቸው አይመስላቸውም ብዙ ጊዜ ድርጅት ላይ ገብቷቸዋል። when you say I'm married, So he said this person is not responsible like that. So I'm not married now, but I'm very responsible. Anyway, I oppose this one actually. It's okay. Mr. Abel, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to interrupt you because of time. We have given you more time because you are the boss for the class.
Okay, sir.
It's okay. Okay, so Mr. Habtamu, my last question. So traditional, there are two ways of marriage: traditional way and modern way. So this nowadays, people are getting married. Most people by modern marriage. Yeah, modern marriage means you yourself choose, right? But before our fathers and mothers used to choose, right, for us. So which one do you prefer? I hope you prefer the modern, even if I don't expect the answer from you. But I'm very much interested in the traditional way of marriage. Now I'm from Hawassa. I told my mom all the time to look for me a wife around the village. Since she knows people, and it might be very good interest. That's why it stayed a lot during traditional marriage. Marriage used to stay a long time, but now during modern, after 6 or 1 year, 2 years, sometimes you see marriage will be broken. What is
the traditional way of marriage in Ethiopia? Yes, it has been an arranged marriage by the parents. The couples don't know who they are going to marry. They have their own reasons. The parents have their own reasons for choosing whose child you are going to marry. That, and as you said, marriage used to last longer back in the days. That may not be necessarily because the husband and the wife love one another, but it is because highly detestable in society to be a widow or to go into divorce. It is highly detestable in society. That I say that is the main reason. But nowadays, if parents arrange the marriage these days, and if they want to go traditionally, that marriage won't last because there's a freedom to get out of that marriage, even
the modern one
supported politically.
The modern one affects the traditional way of thinking.
That's true.
Thanks so much, Mr. Abel. Thank you for. I'm sorry to interrupt you again. I'm sorry to give a chance for the other students.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Habtamu. Very good presentations. We have asked many questions, but that was very good for you. Thank you so much. At the end of the class, I will take the mark. The second presenter, and I did ብዙ ጥያቄ እንደዚህ እንዳልጠይቃችሁ እንዳትፈሩ ማለት ነው። እሺ እነሰራ ምናምን ጸሎት እያደረጋችሁ መሰለኝ ብዙ ጥያቄ ያልጠየቃችሁ። እሺ sometimes ጠንከር ማድረግበት ተማሪ ይኖራል። ያው ወደ ጥያቄው ስለሆነ እሺ ሶሪ ኦኬ second presenter
I think it's me. I'm the second presenter.
Who are you?
Samson.
Samson. Yes, Mr. Samson. Go ahead.
Okay. Thanks for the opportunity. When I proceed to my presentation, the question I wanted to talk about was what is the importance of building the Nile. Yes.
Mr. Samson, I'm not looking at your live photograph. Photo
ካሜራ ብቻለሁ።
አይታይም ማለት ካልሆነ
ምናልባት ኔትወርክ ካልሆነ እኔ ጋር ግን ይታያል።
ለኔ አይታይም። ካልታየ ደግሞ ፕሬዘንት እንድታደርግ አይቻልም ቢኮዝ ማን እንደሚያወራ ስለማላውቅ ሜቢ ዩር ብራዘር እሺ አንድ እድል ልስጥ በኋላ ላይ እሺ let me give a chance for that somebody and I will back to you. It's ሞክር ትችላለህ አንዴ ሞክር
አሁንስ
አይታይም ነው ፎቶዎችን ማየው እንቅስቃሴ ለማየት ፈልጌ ነው እሺ በኋላ በጣም ሰድ ፕሬዘንተር with the set
አቤት
ሰላም ነሽ?
ኧረ አይደለም
Yes.
Years you goes. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Well, have you eaten breakfast?
Yes.
How was it? Good? Delicious?
Delicious.
Very delicious. Yeah. Very good. Go ahead.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm going to present about what is the importance of building Nile Dam in Ethiopia. Ethiopia, in my opinion, not only in my opinion, but Ethiopia is the most poorest country in the world. So building Nile Dam may benefit her to be a rich country like Egypt, because Egypt is the desert country. She's only using the Nile. So, in my opinion, Ethiopia becomes rich. Ethiopia couldn't satisfy food, shelter, and clean water for her people. So, if Ethiopia builds a dam, will solve a lot of things.
Yes, are you reading? Yanabrosh, no?
I not ያወጣቸውን ኖቶች እያየሁ ነው።
እያየሽ ማለት እያነበብሽ ነው ማለት ነው እንጂ እነሱ እያነበቡ አይደለም። እሺ በደንብ ስለዚህ ትንሽዬ ታብራሪያለሽ እያየሽ ስለሆነ አሁን እያነበበች የሚል ስሜት አይስሜል አሁን ላይቀር ትንሽ ብራስሽ ፕሬዘንት አድርግሽ ጎበዝ ጎበዝ።
እሺ Ethiopia couldn't satisfy for her people shelter, clean water, and food. So if she builds the Nile Dam, it benefits her to satisfy those things. Not only those, but schools, school food, and so on things. So she might become a rich country like the Egyptian.
Okay. Okay. Okay, very good. Very good. Yes, very good. Very good. Very good. You have any question for Jerusalem? Not Jerusalem. Have you question for her? Okay, Jerusalem. Okay, I'll back to you. Jerusalem. ጥያቄዎችን ያዥ ጥያቄ ብትጠይቅ ወደፊት ስብሰባም ስትኖሩ ያው ጥያቄ ይዛችሁ አንድ ላይ ይመለሳል like the parliament. Okay, so Jerusalem, my question is, are you contributing for Nile Dam? If it is so, how did you contribute? How did you contribute for the Nile Dam? This is my first question. Other students can ask this. እንዲህ ጥያቄ መጠየቅ ከለመዳችሁ ወደፊት ዲፌንድ ስታደርጉ ቆንጆ ነው። Please ask her question.
Okay, I have a question for you, Yerus.
Yes.
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 Okay. Do you think the poverty of Ethiopia is caused by because we don't have much resources or much money? Don't you think it is because the government is corrupt? Everyone in the government want to make themselves rich, not the country. Do you think even after building the dam, if we have so much money, do you think the government will invest it towards the people to make us benefit from it? Or do you think the corrupt government will go on as it is?
Other students? Nothing would do. Nothing, you get close today. Nothing, ask question, please.
I have one question for Yerusalem.
For Jerusalem.
Do you think the money collected from the society is using appropriately for the Nile Dam?
በትምህርት ከፍ ብሎ መብረር ይቻላል። ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ከከፍተኛ ትምህርት አግባብነትና ጥራት ኤጀንሲ ሙሉ ዕውቅናን ባገኘንባቸው በማስተርስ ዲግሪ ኤምቢኤ በስትራቴጂክ ማኔጅመንት፣ ኤምቢኤ በባንኪንግ እና ፋይናንስ፣ ኤምቢኤ በቢዝነስ ሊደርሺፕ፣ ኤምቢኤ በሪስክና ኢንሹራንስ፣ ኤምኤስሲ በኢንተርናሽናል ትሬድ እና ኢኮኖሚክስ ዘርፎች በእውቀት ለመቅረጽ የበቁ ፕሮፌሰሮቻችን አረንጓዴ መብራታቸውን አብርተዋል። በነገራችን ላይ በኬንያ ሀገር ከሚገኙ ስመጥር ዩኒቨርሲቲዎች በሚመጡ ፕሮፌሰሮች የትኩረት መስክ ትምህርቶቹ መሰጠታቸው ልዩ ያደርገናል። በምርጥ የትምህርት ስርዓት የተገነባው ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ በመጀመሪያ ዲግሪ በአቪዬሽን ማኔጅመንት፣ በሆቴል ማኔጅመንት፣ በአካውንቲንግ እና ፋይናንስ፣ በማርኬቲንግ ማኔጅመንት አስተማማኝ ትምህርት ይገቢውና ራስዎንና ሀገሮን ይለውጡ። አድራሻ 22 አደባባይ ወደ ሾላ በሚወስደው መንገድ ላይ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ህልሞን እውን ያደርጋል።
እሺ ፎርስ ፕሬዘንተር
Yes, any.
I'm sorry.
It's me, sir. Nathaniel Dereji.
Nathaniel Dereji, okay, Nathaniel. Go ahead.
First thing, thank you for giving me this chance.
You're welcome.
So I'm going to talk about the advantage and disadvantage of Facebook. So first, Facebook is one of the world's largest social networking site. Mark Zuckerberg founded Facebook in 2004 while he was attending Harvard University. So with this saying, let's go to the advantage and disadvantage of Facebook. So the first advantage is sharing of information. So sharing information is the first advantage of Facebook that I've listed. So when we say sharing information, the website allows us to share with others what we desire to share. It can be asking public opinion, ask question, etc. And you can share pictures, videos with your friends. So the first advantages of using Facebook is sharing information. And the second one is chatting. So you can chat simply with using Facebook with your friends. Many people, especially students, use Facebook chat for group chatting, while some business use it for short meeting. So the second advantage of using Facebook is chatting with people. And the third advantage of using Facebook is finding pages, friends or colleagues. Today, almost every internet user uses Facebook. So using Facebook, you can find your old friends, colleagues. You just have to type their name or email address, and then you can connect them online again. Many people I know found their very old friends then that they never knew they will find ever contact again. Now they have connected using Facebook. So the fourth advantage of using Facebook is for entertainment. By Facebook, seeing funny videos, photos, memes, GIFs, we can be easily entertained using Facebook. So these are the advantages that I've listed of the advantage of using Facebook. When we go to the disadvantages, it's amazing. The average person spends 4 years of his life looking down at a cell phone. So this touch screen can make us lose touch one at each other. So social media has made us selfish and separate than ever, because while it claims to connect us, it actually disconnects us.
Are you reading?
No, I'm not reading.
Okay.
So it should be called it's not be so it's called social media. It should be called anti-social network, because while we may have big friend lists on Facebook, so many of us are friendless all along, because friendships are more broken than the screens on our very phones. We sit at home and in computer and measure self-worth by the number of likes and followers that we get. So the critical disadvantage of using Facebook is waste of time and waste of life. And we can mention many disadvantages, like it's addictive, it's not secure and safe. You can get easily hacked by hackers, so you lose your privacy easily. People can share fake news on Facebook easily. To conclude what I've told you, Facebook has advantages, some advantage, I believe. But however, we should use it wisely and correctly.
So you can invite us question to ask you question.
Sure.
If you have any question, you can
Okay,
raise.
Nati. Do you think it's good to, attach your very personal files in your Facebook? Because many people are facing very high challenging because of that.
Okay, second question. Salam, ጥያቄ ጠይቄ እንጂ ሰላም ፍስሐ። እሺ, other students?
Okay, I have a question for Nati.
Okay.
Nati, don't you think it is a personal decision of everybody, to use Facebook? Because you said on the disadvantage, you said it is separating us from one another. That's because I reckon we are spending too much time on the internet than out in the field. Is not the password is in your hand. The internet, the phone is in your hand. You can, at any time, disconnect yourself and go out and look for your friends in the neighborhood. Do you think it is our own decisions that make us addicted, not only to Facebook, to even to anything, because the control is in our hand. You could be addicted watching TV, but the remote control is in your hand. You can't turn it off at any time. Don't you think it's our personal decision rather than blaming it on the social network? Don't you think that's our own personal problem?
Okay, other question? Okay, would you answer these questions?
Okay. To answer the Abel's question, he asked me, is it safe to put privacy files? Nowadays in Facebook, sharing privacy files or attaching privacy files in your Facebook is not good, because it can be easily hacked. I told you that it can be easily hacked, so I don't think it's safe to put privacy files in your Facebook. To answer Habtamu's question, she said that it's our decisions to use Facebook. Yes, I agree. I told you that we have to use it wisely and properly. Otherwise, it can be too addictive. So Facebook don't be too. So you have to be wisely and properly. Otherwise, it could be too addictive. That's my answer.
Why do you use Facebook yourself?
Sorry, yeah?
Apologies, sir. Zola is saying the power is off, so he will return when the power returns.
Yes. Okay.
Zola texted me that the power is gone.
It's okay. We wait for it. Okay, Nathaniel, why do you use Facebook?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Why do you use Facebook? I think you are a user of Facebook. Why do you use?
Yeah.
Why do you use?
I use it for entertainment, for chatting sometimes, but I don't do it more often because it could be too dangerous using it. It can control you. You have to control the Facebook. It cannot control you.
Thank you so much. I speak good English. I appreciate your English. Thank you. Okay, other students, other presenter. አምስተኛው ማለት ነው። ቺዝ ፕሬዘንተር እሺ ኢየሩስ ይሰማሻል? ጀሩሳሌም እሺ የቅድሞቹ ጥያቄ ተወራሽ ማርክ ስላልሰጠሁሽ እዚህ ላይ ባለና ፎቶሽን ራፍቱ አንስልሽ እስካሁን ሰው ማማከሽ ይችላል መለሳል የሃዲ ነው ታይም እሺ ወይት
የመጀመሪያው የስታም contributing by many. The second one.
You are a student. Where do you bring the money from?
From my friends.
Okay, very good. Second question.
As a country, it will benefit her. Corruption እስካለ ድረስ it doesn't change anything.
As long as corruption is here.
Yes.
Okay. Is that?
በቃ መሰለኝ አይደል?
በቃ? እሺ። በቃ ተመልሶላችኋል እናስባለን። Very good. Thank you so much. Please presenter. Amsterdam. Please presenter. ሰላም ነሽ መሰለኝ። ሰላም
ናቲ ከሆነ ጠብቁኝ ብሏል። ናቲም አሁን ደውሎ ነበር ማብራት።
በቃ ሰላም ትሁን ችግር የለም። ናቲ በኋላ ሰላም እሺ
እኔ ፕሬዘንት ላጋ አምስተኛ ነኝ።
አምስተኛ ነኝ። አምስተኛ ነበር የቀረሁት። እሺ
First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Tlan for giving me this chance. And
you're welcome.
Of course,
welcome,
all of you for your willingness to listen. And I'm going to share with you some important ideas about what you have to do when you get stressed. That means I chose the question which says, what do you do when you get stressed? Before I go to the points of how to handle stress or what should we do when we get stressed, I'm going to tell you about what stress is, the definition of stress, and how it is caused, and the science of it. Stress is the body's reaction to any change that requires adjustment or response. It's emotional. Okay, our body reacts to these changes with physical, mentally, or emotionally. We have to know what stress is. No, we have to know that stress is a normal part of life. That means everyone can be stressed with different reasons. You can experience stress from your environment or your body or even your own thoughts. Stress can be caused by different kinds of reasons. For example, being unhappy in your job or your life, the days of your loved ones, or getting divorced, or getting married also, moving to a new house, or illness or injury can be the causes of stress in everyone's life. Sometimes the stress comes from inside you can stress yourself just by worrying about things. For example, fear, uncertainty, or insecurities about yourself, or your attitudes and perception of things, and unrealistic expectations from others. When you get stressed, we show some psychological or emotional signs like depression, anger, restlessness, or feeling overwhelmed. Most of the time, unmotivated and unfocused most of the time, and making bad decisions, trouble of sleeping or sleeping too much maybe. But we have to focus on the solution than the problem, because we have to focus on the solution than the problem we are in, and try to handle the situations. We have to be brave enough on controlling our emotions and cope with the difficulties that we are in. And maybe sometimes it's necessary, if there is a severe stress which leads to depression or anxiety, it's necessary to consult a doctor and have some medications like antidepressants or something. Sometimes it may seem like there's nothing you can do about stress, but we have to react to the situation that we are in and try to handle difficulties or something. So I'm going to tell you some important ideas on how to handle stress or reduce stress. First of all, we have to know that what is the source of the stress in our life, and then we will take measures to fix it. For example, we have to try to surround ourselves with positive and encouraging people. We have to avoid negativity from our life. Or we have to talk to others and share our problems or feelings with others, with our loved ones. And it's good to take a break from what's stressing us. And we need to get enough sleep or sleep more, or you have to reduce the time of the duration of sleeping. We need to make time for ourselves and for our friends and spend time with them. It's good to spend some quality time with yourself also. And nature, maybe. We have to learn to forgive someone and move on, rather than focusing on the problem. It's also good to help someone else by volunteering. It makes us feel a lot better about ourselves, and during stressful periods, we have to avoid drugs and alcohol, because this may seem to help, but they are very
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. This much is enough. Because actually you have gone detail issue. I appreciate you, it's good, but you have been reading much about in the next let me ask you a question. What do you do when you get stressed? you have told us a lot of things about stress, and it shows that you have been very ready for that. And what did when you get stressed? And she's number one. Number two, sometimes, do you sleep when you get stressed? Sometimes people say, I will go to bed when I get stressed. I'm really surprised by that. Do you sleep? Sometimes some people go to bed when they get stressed. Stress you, do you sleep when you get stressed? These are my two questions. Very simple questions. Other students can ask questions. Other students, ask her a question.
Okay, Salam, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Don't you think, first of all, to take measure for any stress, don't you think people should seek religious means than medical means? I mean, medical means is good for medical means.
Another question?
Okay, Salam, I have also.
Ask.
Persons who have the problem of psychological problems like anxiety, depression, stress, and so on, they hate advice. What do you say about this point?
Okay, other question? Okay, other question. Salam is Hamza Begin Bigat. Kadamal Begum Starch. Salam Hamza Begin Bigat. Yes, other question? You have questions? No question. Okay, go ahead, Salam.
Okay. The first question is, what do you do when you get stressed? Most of the time, I pray and I write down what's stressing me, and I write down my to-do lists, and I will try to do them one by one most of the time.
When you get stressed? When you get stressed, when ideas will not come, how can you write?
The second question is, do you sleep when you get stressed? Not most of the time, because I can't sleep, but sometimes I do. But most of the times I will try to fix it because I can't sleep if I'm stressed. The third question is Habtamu's question. It's based on the opinion of the person. If the person is a religious person, I think, in my opinion, I'm Orthodox, and in my opinion, I think before medication, I hate medication in the first place. So before medication, I prefer religious treatments like or praying for yourself, something. But it's based on the opinion of the person. The fourth question is, when people are stressed, they hate advices. I think in this situation, we have to respect their opinion or their want, because if they hate advices, we don't have to give them advices. We have to, we have to help them using different techniques, like tell them to read or watch a movie or some videos about how to handle stress or something. If they hate receiving advice from other people, we have to let them be, I think.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for present in the future, when you are talking, what do you do when you get stressed, until you went to know detail how to manage detail. It's good, but sometimes stick with the topic, right? The topic we got stick on. አንቺ stress, what do you want ምን እንደምታደርጊ ነው የምትፈልገው? አንቺ ዲቴል ነው እሱ ጥሩ ነው። It's okay. But in the future, ጽሁፍ ላይ ምንም ላይ you know, focus on the topic area. Thanks so much. But ጥሩ ነው presentation. Okay. Other students? How much you have been ready? Thank you. Next presenter. Sabatanya Mani. Anybody? Nathaniel Muke or
Shall I continue or?
I will go ahead.
Okay, thanks for giving
Try to
me
make
support.
it very short. I'm sorry, Abel, because our time is running. Try to make it short, Abel. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. I would like to thank my instructor Talaun for giving me this Mr. Talaun for giving me this opportunity to speak in front of my classmates and to rebuild my speaking skill. The topic that I selected the topic that I selected to speak is the first one. To remind you the question, it says, assume that you are flying an airplane and there are 7 passengers in the plane. If somebody forces you to throw one of your passengers and save the life of others, whom do you throw and why? I was expecting to hear the attitude of my classmates related with this topic, but
nobody has chosen this.
Nobody
I have been very disappointed, you know, because nobody has.
Yeah, I was also expecting them. I found it very interesting and a little bit challenging. It looks very challenging question, but after I give it time and think about it for a while, I realized that it wasn't, you know, that much hard and challenging based on my opinion. I think the first one says mom, right? Yeah, the first alternative is mom. I don't think there is gonna be no one who plans to throw his mom.
But
it's
I
better
did.
to keep. So let's just keep that one. When we go to the child, child for me it's like you know, it's your own blood, so it's very challenging, and I feel like I'm terrorist, you know, if I even think about it to kill my son. So even I don't have the courage to do that to my son too, so I'm going to skip that. When I move to the third option, it says a pregnant woman. When we see for the pregnant woman, it's like killing 2 people because she have other life in her. So this one is also very bad. When we go to the fourth one, it says the only doctor in the world who has HIV medicine. Here I have something. The doctor is not that much important for me. The medicine is. So I'm going to take the medicine and I'm going to throw the doctor rather than comparing from other lives. Rather than killing pregnant woman and the child, it's better to kill the doctor, I think. Because the fourth one says the only Ethiopian farmer who feed 50% of Ethiopian people, that's impossible. Because we all are going to be in danger if we are run out of rations, you know. So the farmer is going to be keep safe, including child and wife. I prefer to kill myself rather than killing my family, in my opinion. So I don't have the courage to do it to my mother, to my children and family. So I prefer. The farmer is also very important because it's feeding above the half population, and we can't serve. It's obvious that we can't survive without food. So I'm going to take the medicine from the doctor and I'm going to throw it.
Okay. Do you have, you know, I have students have a question for you. Please ask me.
I also want to hear their attitude.
Yeah. I hope everybody shouts at you. Question?
Yeah, I have question.
Revenge him, revenge, because he has asked a lot of students. Revenge.
You said we can't throw the doctor, so how can we throw the doctor even if we don't know how to use the medicine, even if we took the medicine?
I think about that, but you know, if the medicine is in not how to say produced or manufactured, or if the medicine formula is in his brain too, people can live with the virus for a long time, as you can see, but you can't survive without a food or plus it's very hard for you to kill your own family, so I prefer that.
Other question?
Abel, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If
I'm listening. Continue.
If among the choices, I thought about that question, and I said this question was produced by a terrorist in the first place. Why should we have to kill anyone in any case?
Yeah, I was saying
listen
many times about the terrorism, I feel terrorist too. When I even throwing the doctor is not also humanity.
So the question itself is evil, but I'll ask you one question though. If there was another choice that says throwing yourself to save everybody else.
Oh, it's like a blessing. It's like a blessing for me, frankly speaking.
Actually, that was my question. If that option was in it, I would have done that question as well. But throwing anyone, killing anyone, I thought it was evil, even the question itself. So I skipped and chose another question. Thank you.
Let's make the choice like this. I mean, now the choice, let me state the choice. Pregnant woman, mother, child. Whom are going to throw? Pregnant woman, your mom, and the child. 3 choices now. Choose one. Abel.
Sir.
Yeah. Have you listened to me? Abel.
Yeah, I'm listening now.
Yeah, if you have choose 3 choices only, pregnant woman, mother, and child, whom are going to?
Oh, it's really, it's really challenging.
But
I even don't want to think about
choose
it.
One. Choose one.
Can I throw myself?
No, there's no. It's not the choice. Speed up.
It's very hard. It's very hard.
Habtamu, can you help him?
Well, sir, I don't even want to think about it. I said the patient has evil intentions.
If we,
but if I were, maybe the answer is very simple. If I were, I would throw, my mom, because the others are very much important. The others, the child when he grows up is very important. The pregnant woman has got 2 souls, but mom is there because she's a bit aged, so I prefer that one.
I hate to be your mom, sir.
It's okay. By the way, I'm not sure, this question, has been, I think, asked, when during interview airport, I think, I got it from internet. This kind of questions would be answered, but I'm not quite sure about this actually. But, the interview, this question will be asked in interview, to check whether the pilot, selfish or not. So I hope the answers might be no, mom, because, the others are much important. Even if, I love my mom very much, as you do, but, just check that, because you are the pilot, I'm sorry, you are the pilot for the country. You are not the pilot for your family, okay? So you need to know, yes?
Do you think you are going to have the strength
to do that? I don't have. It's difficult for me to. This is, for reflection actually. It's okay. Now other question for Ari? You have other question for Abel? No question. Thank you, Mr. Abel. Thank you so much. Thank you. Next presenter. Next, Charleston. I'm finished.
So I have chosen the. Okay, first of all, thank you for giving me this chance.
You're welcome.
And from the arguments I have chosen, from knowledge and money, which comes first, people unknowingly compare money to knowledge. And this is wrong, because you can't compare something that is inside the system to that system. It would be like comparing the Earth to the solar system. The Earth is found inside the solar system, and we can't compare the Earth to the solar system. So money is just the medium of exchange. For example, if Habtamu has something that I want and I have something that he wants, we could exchange our products. But first, we need to value our products. So in the old times, we used a system called bartering, which was the exchange of one good for another. But knowledge created money to make this system more easier and to make trading and exchanging products and services more easier. So money is just like the centimeter on a ruler, by which we measure the value of a product or a service. This argument is somewhat vague because people tend to mistake money with power, but they are not the same thing. And if we compare knowledge to power, power would win. Let me give you an example. Albert Einstein, which was one of the most brilliant men, was prosecuted by the German government, and he had fled to America to save his life. Even though he had the knowledge, he didn't have the power to resist the influence of the German government. But the Americans used his knowledge, monetized it, and changed it into power. So now we know that as they created the atomic bomb using his knowledge. So power has the ability to influence, it has the ability to impact and bring change. So we as students should know that knowledge is valuable only if we could monetize it and change it into power. Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate you. Where have you been, Basil?
Any questions?
Where have you been? You know, very amazing student. Really. So please attend the class. I appreciate your presentation. You know, well built and well organized, and show that you know how much you have ready for that. And I appreciate what I haven't seen from the other students. You have been in good gesture, right? This one way of public speaking, presentation style. I really appreciate that one. Okay? You have been expressing things by hands. Thank you so much. Don't miss class, please. Johannes very much with perfect English. Okay, other students, do you have any questions? I have a question, but let me give a chance for you first, students. Asking questions.
I have a question, John.
Okay,
Mr. John.
continue.
Mr. John, photo አይታይም
video break እያደረገብኝ ነው, sorry.
Wait.
You said power is preferable more than knowledge. I agree with you, but don't you think even power itself is nothing without knowledge, and power could destroy you if you don't know how to use it? So don't you think these things are interchangeable?
Okay. Second question.
Like one pieces. They're like two pieces, two sides of one coin: power and knowledge. Don't you think, unless there is knowledge, even if you have power, that could be distracted to you. You don't know how to use it. And if you have knowledge, as you said, and you don't have power to implement it, it's no use. So don't you think that they have equal importance?
Second question. Second question. Please ask him.
Okay, let me ask him.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you for all students because we don't have time anymore. I appreciate you really, but I'm very much happy by all students really. Thank you so much. As the first presentations and as I have tried to understand.
ልዩነት መፍጠር ዓላማችን ነው። ዓለም አቀፍ ተወዳዳሪ መሆን አለባችሁ። የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ ጥራትና ደረጃውን የጠበቀ ስልጠና በመስጠት ብቁ ዜጋ እያፈራን ነው። በፍላይት ኦፕሬሽን፣ በበረራ መስተንግዶ፣ በቲኬቲንግና ሪዘርቬሽን፣ በሆቴልና ቱሪዝም ሙያዎች አሰልጥነን ተወዳዳሪ እናደርጎታለን። ኮሌጃችን ካናዳ ከሚገኘው ኢንተርናሽናል ኤር ትራንስፖርት አሶሲዬሽን አያታና ከእንግሊዙ ICM ጋር በመተባበር ዓለም አቀፍ ዕውቅና ያለው ስልጠና እየሰጠ ይገኛል። በፍላይት ኦፕሬሽን በበረራ መስተንግዶ የምንሰጣቸው ስልጠና ከኢትዮጵያ ሲቪል አቪዬሽን ባለስልጣን ሙሉ ዕውቅና አለው። አድራሻ ከጎላጉል ታወር 22 አደባባይ ወደ ሾላ በሚወስደው መንገድ ላይ የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ ህልሞን እውን ያደርጋል።